Hello everyone, it's Cindy the Scrapologist. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hello. Thank you for watching. And over in my Patreon, we are making a junk journal idea book. It's a winter-long project, something for us all to have fun and do and help us get through the long cold winter. And each month they get a kit of supplies. In the February kit, they got a bunch of antique paper, a big paper pack, and I also sent over to everybody a piece of butcher paper. And so I wanted to hop on here and show you all of the things that you can do with this butcher paper. And if you're in my Patreon, go ahead and go over there and watch it. Watch this video because you don't have to see any ads if you watch it over on Patreon. But if you're just a YouTube member, you unfortunately are going to have to suffer through the ads. So this is some of the stuff we're going to make today. Let's get started. The first idea I have for you is stamping. If you take your stamps and stamp them all in a pattern like this, then you can actually just make yourself some wrapping paper. If you do it on a nice long sheet, pulled out of the roll, and do some symmetrical, it can be grungy, but if you want to make something a little more pretty that looks like wrapping paper, you can do something like this. And I did try to do these sunflowers in a more yellow color. Here, these two colors right here, and they did not show up. So you do need kind of more bright, vibrant colors, or a dark black or white. You need something that's going to really contrast with this brown, or it's not going to show up. But these are super pretty. And since this is for my idea book, I am just going to fold it in half. And that's going to be a really pretty undercut page in my journal. So I did not stamp on both sides, and the reason for that is that the paper has a glossy side. You probably can't see it here, but maybe you can. A glossy side and a more dull side. And I found that if you do stamp on the glossy side, it smears really easily. So I'm going to do something else with the inside, but there's a really pretty undercut page. So that's really more if you want to make something symmetrical and maybe use it for wrapping paper to wrap a really nice handmade journal in. There are other stamping techniques that work on here. You can do embossing. So I have my embossing pad here, and I have a really nice corner stamp, and I'm going to put that in the corner here. Make sure I get really good coverage. Pull out my white is my favorite to use on this, but you can use any color you want. Whoops, let me get my mat so I don't make a mess. That little box of embossing powder I have had since the 1980s. Remember when stamping was all the rage and you used to get the cool stamps? They were all backed with wood. My girlfriend and I, we've been best friends since high school, actually. And she and I just would sit for hours and stamp and have little snacks going, and yeah, maybe a glass of wine once we got old enough. But I miss those days. I craft alone a lot, which is why because I live a little more out in the willy wax now. And yeah, I can't work and talk at the same time here this morning for some reason. I'm still sick. I still have that cold. The cold that keeps on giving. But yeah, I do miss crafting with people. That's why I am really seriously considering doing some lives for my Patreon. I think it would be super fun to be able to answer questions and hear your ideas. And here it comes to life. I lifted this up because I do not want to warp my cutting mat. I did that to 3 cutting mats. I have a video on me trying to unwarp them. And it was not fun. It was a lot of work, so I don't want to do this one. Warp this one. But look how pretty that is. This butcher paper takes really nicely to embossing, and so if I were to fold that for a page, look at how pretty. That would have been pretty in a green too. Maybe I'll do the other side in green. So I'm going to just fold that, and that will be another page that I can put in my journal, and I'll do some decorating here. Well, maybe while I'm at it, I'll do the green. And there we go. That's really pretty. Has a little bit of sparkle to it. This particular powder here is called Topiary Green. Topiary Tapestry. I don't even know if this company is around anymore. Personal Stamp Exchange. I bought so much of this stuff is from them. Yeah, they were a great company. I hope they're still around. If I ever run out of embossing powders, I have 3 trays of these in my stash. So, okay, so, oops, I forgot to put that back. I'll do that later. That's why I still have all these powders from the 80s, because I was very frugal with them. Okay, so that's a nice page. Put that in the pile for my idea book. I'm going to pull off another piece of this butcher paper. One of the things I love about the butcher paper too is you don't need to cut it or anything. Just take your ruler. How much of a piece do I want here? Let's do this size. Just take your ruler. Whoops, I wasn't very careful down here, but that's okay. Okay, oops. I'm throwing things down to my right where my trash can usually is, and it's not there. So I'm throwing everything on the floor. All right. The other thing is just to grunge this up just with some black stamps. Black or Tim Holtz Vintage Photo. And I like to use this, one of these sets that has a variety of vintage stuff on it, and I would tell you where I got this stuff, but I'm not really good at. I used to not be very good at keeping records on that. So if you have any questions about where I got this, let me know. I might not always know where I got it. This leaf stamp or fern stamp or whatever it is, I got from All in Create. I love their stamps, and this was a pine cone set. Really, really nice. So for this, you know what? I'm going to cut this down one more time because I think I just want to collage on it and then use it to tear and just put on a page. So I like to just take a whole variety of stamps, and where's my black ink pad? Roll up my sleeves a bit because I do not want to get black ink all over my sweater. I'm just going to stamp all over this, really with no rhyme or reason, and I'm going to speed it up while I stamp. My camera and microphone went wacky on me at this point, so you can almost see the finished product here. It's just a collage. There's really not a lot more to see. And I stamped luggage on upside down, so I tore the hand off. And we'll work with this a little more. It's just a little collage that you can stick to a page. We'll work more on this in our idea book. The next thing I want to show you is how to make these really simple but cool envelopes to put in your journals. They can be policy style or coin envelope style, I think you call them, this way, or they can be, so they can be in a portrait orientation, or they can be in a landscape orientation, depending on what you're going to do with them. I do have an envelope punch board. This is by We Are Memory Keepers. I'll put the link below in case you're interested. I don't have a lot of gadgets in my studio because I just don't have the room, and I don't want to spend money on things that I'm going to use once and then they're just going to take up space. But having said that, this is something that I use all the time, and I felt this was a good investment. It was not expensive, really. When you think about gadgets you can buy for your paper crafts, not expensive at all. And this is how I make my envelopes. But in case you don't have one, I'm just going to show you how to make a little simple origami envelope with your brown paper. Excuse me. And this technique will work with any paper. I'm going to cut a piece or tear a piece that's 6 by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is just one simple way to make an origami envelope, but you can Google origami envelopes and you'll find all kinds of really cool videos on how to fold your own envelope. I'm going to turn it this way because it's naturally curling in like this, so it's going to be easier to fold. So the first thing that you do is just put it on the diagonal like this and fold the 2 points together. But you're not going to crease across here. You're just going to put a little finger dent there and open it up. Turn it and do the same with the other 2 points. put a little finger dent there, and now you have a little, you probably can't see it, but you have a little cross in the center, and that helps guide you where to put your folds. So the next thing you're going to do is take this point over here, fold it into that point, and this one you are going to crease. Then fold this into that point and crease it, and fold your top down to that point and crease it. Okay, then you want to open this up. We're going to do the bottom part. You can do the same thing for the bottom, just fold it up and use your glue stick and you're done. But I like to make the bottom a little more decorative. So now I'm going to take, with the two sides folded in, I'm going to take about a little over 1/4 of an inch, I guess, of this paper and fold it. And then I'm going to do it again on this side, about 1/4 of an inch, and fold it. And I make sure I have a nice point here. At this point, no pun intended, you can put that up and you have a nice decorative edge. But what I like to do is just fold the point in just a little bit and then fold it up. Make it even. So it just looks a little more decorative. You also can take this little point and fold it inside if you want and glue it down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just put my glue stick on these little folds here. And tuck the point under. And there's my little envelope. I do like to round off the corner here. The envelope punch board will do that. It took me a year to figure out that this was there. But if you have a corner, a rounder, you can use that, of course. So there's our little envelope. And what I did with this one, which I like to do with this brown paper a lot, is I just scrunched it up. I know, look what I'm doing to my beautiful creation. I'm wrecking it. And then I used Tim Holtz photo and just really grunge it up. You can be as heavy with this as you want. I need to re-ink this pad. It's not giving me as much as I would like. But you can just grunge it up if you're a grungy girl. If not, put flowers. Lace would be really pretty. Ribbon. Okay. And then I have this little box of labels, and I think in one of the digitals, if you remember, I gave you these. This is from my stash. I have the real one in my stash, and I made a kit of these, and I love them. I use them so much that I always have some cut and in my little box of labels here. So I could just put that there. You have to decide too. Actually, I could put this in my journal this way. So let's say that this is my page, and I could sew it in that way, and then you have a little tuck spot there. But I think this is going to make a nice pocket this way, actually. So I'm going to decorate this side. But if you're not sure what you're going to do with it yet, hold off on the decorating. This label's too big. I always like to off-center things. I don't like to have things straight on. But that's kind of cool. I like that. I like that, but it needs Tim Holtz Vintage Photo. I wish I got a commission for every time I said Tim Holtz Vintage Photo. I'd be a rich lady. These stickers, I always have such a hard time. I usually need to grab my X-Acto knife, but that came off okay. And you know what is a fun thing to do with these envelopes? In one of your subscription kits, I did give you some twine, but certainly you can pick this up anywhere. But I like to wrap it around. Let's see how much I need. Let me just cut off a big piece. Bear with me here. My fingers are in very rough shape. I'm going to physical therapy for trigger finger on this finger because I just did a gig at the Opera House and I played piano for 3 months solid. And now my fingers are not cooperating. There we go. I'll show you what I did after I get my fingers. Oh, I'm right-handed too, so to not have my middle finger work is like really frustrating. Really frustrating me. Okay. I have all these ailments that I'm complaining about today, don't I? My cold and my finger. I'm getting older, what can I say? These things start catching up with you when you play hard. Okay. So all I did was wrap the twine around twice. And now we have a cool little envelope. And I can stick that in and put some neat things in there. It's a little flimsy, excuse me, so when we go to decorate, I might end up putting a piece of something in here to make it less flimsy, but okay. Envelopes. There's another idea for you. Putting those in our pile for our Junk Journal Idea Book decorating session. And if you can't find these little labels, let me know. I'm pretty sure I gave them to all my Patreons. I also wanted to show you that you can actually, it's not going to show up very well on the camera, but you can actually emboss on this paper just like you would any other paper. So if you have a Sizzix or something like that and you have an embossing folder, this paper takes very well to that. So I embossed one as an example for you, and I'm going to put that in my pile of things that we will use to decorate when we get to decorating our idea book. The last thing I wanted to do, and I'm just going to do a little mini one, but you know, Masterboards are all the rave. And all that is really is a collage where you cover this. And so let me get my scrap. And oh, I forgot to show you this too. You can make a bag, and once it's all folded up, put it through your embossing machine too, and that makes a really pretty bag. I'm going to put that in the pile. So I have I said box of scraps, but I have a bag of scraps here. I've been working on a journal, and I'm just throwing these in here until I can figure out what project I want to do to use them up. because I don't keep a lot of scraps hanging around. Well, I do, but I try not to. So I'm just going to go through my scraps, take my glue stick, and just start gluing things down. This is a really good way to use up your scraps, and it's also a great project for TV or travel. I think I will ink this up a little bit, just a little bit. It's a little too white for me. So I'm going to speed up the camera and just go ahead and collage this piece. Okay, well, I was too lazy to go pull all those stamps back out again, so I just grabbed a couple. I have another drawer of ones that I don't use very often. So sometimes I like to just take one of these and just kind of put some black stamping on it to give it a little more interest. I definitely need a new black ink pad. That didn't work at all. Oh, I know. Use this. It's got some words on it. But I have some number letters like you saw earlier. I probably would normally do these stamps on there and put a big 3 on it and stuff like that. But I'm getting tired and I'm getting lazy right now. I've only been out of bed for one day, so go easy on me. All right, cleaning up my stamps, of course. Okay. So then you have this on a nice backing, and sometimes you can kind of see through what you glued on there as well. And then you have this so that if you wanted to make a tag, we have, where's my angle punch? Angle, here it is. I'm under my desk. Okay, back up here. And I have my angle punch. Uh-oh. What's she barking at? Must be the UPS man. I'm expecting some supplies for you all. Can't tell you what it is yet. March is going to be awesome. Okay, so now we have a couple of tags. And what you can do, if you want, if you have enough scraps like I do, just take your roll, set something on it, and just keep gluing stuff on, doing some stamping, and you can just go forever and roll it up. And when you need something to put in your journal, open it up. I use my rotary tool. cut off a strip, and then you have some ephemera that's actually very neatly stored on a roll that you can use anytime you want. So that is what we have for today. There are lots of other things you can do with this packing paper. I love it, especially when I'm going for a more vintage look. And if you're in my Patreon in the top 2 tiers and you're following along with the Junk Journal Idea Book, you're getting ads-free videos, and you're going to get we're going to do a video also in February on starting to decorate our pages for our Junk Journal Idea Book. So I hope you're following along and you're having lots of fun. I still haven't fixed this yet. I still have to put my cover on, but there you go. Okay, I hope this gave you some good ideas, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!